Julia Angwin at ProPublica is shaping up to be Facebook's Bob Woodward. Today, the tireless reporter posted a piece about how Facebook allows companies to target their advertisements based on race, either including or excluding users based on what Facebook calls their ethnic affinity. The problem is that both the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Fair Housing Act of 1968 make it illegal to advertise on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, or national origin. ProPublica was able to submit an ad for a renter event, excluding African Americans and Asians, or at least the people they've identified based on an algorithm that fall into the African American or Asian ethnic affinity. The ad was approved in 15 minutes. Facebook has responded to the ProPublica piece with a lengthy statement to Forbes, basically saying marketers use this type of targeting to assess whether their ads resonate more with certain audiences versus others. They also posted on Facebook a response to this. It was called Driving Relevance and Inclusion with Multicultural Marketing. And it was written by Christina Martinez, who's the head of Multicultural. Just multicultural, not multicultural anything necessarily. And, she makes the point, living in the United States, most of the advertising that I see in traditional media is targeted to the people in the majority, people who don't look like me, who don't speak Spanish, and who might not share my experience. And that's okay. Like, I'm all for inclusion, but this is exclusion, which I believe is different, and I also think is illegal. Exclusion targeting is something that they apparently do in the ad industry a lot. Yeah. But, Facebook has 1.5 billion users, and I think that they need to follow, like, this is the world that this is. If you put an ad and you say I don't want any African Americans to see this ad, or then I think that should be illegal.
So this is not a new feature. I think you may have mentioned that it's been there for more than 2 years now. And yes, when I'm reading through this, I'm like, it feels icky. Like, I don't like the idea of this, right? Food for thought. Total, like, other side of the fence. Ads are targeted at, just as one example, ad ranges or age ranges all the time. You hear about that all the time in advertising. Like, we're really, appealing, marketing our products to a certain demographic that is, 18 to 24 or whatever the case may be. It's all about making sure that your intended audience sees your ads. So I don't know, at least on that sense, it's a little bit of a double standard, I suppose. It feels icky, but at the same time, this is the way the ad industry works. And so maybe the broader question is, should the ad industry work this way? I mean, especially when you consider like ad marketing on TV was never, and even in newspapers, you were never able to drill down to exactly who saw. That's something that was enabled in the move to digital. Is that okay? Are people okay with that? And if you're not okay with it in one, then you probably shouldn't be okay with it in another, because you're always excluding someone in that process.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're always excluding. When you get right down to it and you see that, if you look at the ad form they filled out, and it says, I would like in this ad, this renter's event. So, this is a very specific thing they're talking about, housing, which is,
right.
So it's not just who can buy my chocolate milk, who can buy my toys. This is housing. Like, in that, that there's a long history of this, and it still goes on. It would be silly to say that, that we're not still divided by race in a lot of places by all kinds of factors. But I think that Facebook should be called to task for this. They, like I said, they have a lot of users, and we need to be able to, 15 minutes, at least spend some time thinking about it. Like, okay, why does this person want to put in an ad that's going to exclude African Americans and Asians? Like, why?
I would be really surprised if they even, consider that to some degree, or maybe they do. I guess I don't know how the ad industry works, behind closed doors of Facebook. Well, how much scrutiny is really being put to this?
Right. And this is something that we need to think about, because it's Google does it. They all do it. It's just different. Like, when you're talking about, when we used to watch TV commercials, they didn't have the ability to not you're African American, I'm not going to show you this commercial. It's not going to show up because you're African American. So this is new technology. This is new ways we need to look at it and say, hey, that sounds illegal to me.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much that genie can be put back into the bottle at this point, because I'm guessing it's been working like this for a long time, and when you take the scale of Facebook, that's where it really kind of starts to tip the balance, and you go, okay. And we talk about this in many other ways in regards to Facebook, as far as like the news that you see in your feed and everything. Because Facebook is so ginormous, the effects of something like this are amplified tenfold compared to a lot of other things, and it raises that level of importance just by the sheer fact that it is kind of, in many ways, the place that everybody is at.
Yeah. But I mean, it happens on Google too. I mean, Google is targeting people unfairly, like people who, might need, if you search for like, I need a loan, like I need a payday loan, they're going to target you for other things based on that. And yeah, I don't know that the genie can be put back in the bottle, but I think that that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it and bring it to light.
For sure. And I think through this, a lot of people are kind of learning a little bit more about how that ad and marketing industry works on the internet and what you are able to do. And is that okay? Like in this instance, it doesn't feel okay. It feels icky.